I began my speech with a crack of thunder. I told you my personal story of being lost on the backside of Pikes Peak when it got late and got really dark. And then thunder and lightning hit and created a curtain of flames around me. I didn't panic, but there was nowhere to go. I saw a stream. I told you how I laid down in the stream as this bulldozer of flames came across me. My experience that day was twofold. Never ever give up, and things always work out for the best. Next time you find yourself in a place where you think it's impossible to move forward, remember that. Never ever give up, and things always work out for the best. Mr. Toastmaster. I promise to give you 3 tips, financial tips, so that you will feel wealthy beyond your wildest imagination. I'm going to summarize those tips. Tip number 1, live within your means. That means that you put at least 10% of your after-tax take-home pay away into savings. 10 to 15%. Tip number 2, quit spending money. If you see an item that you just think you have to have at the store, think about it. Don't buy it. Go home, sleep on it. If you really have to have it, you can go back. It'll still be at that store. Or you can type in, find it on Amazon. And the 3rd tip, volunteer your time. You'd be surprised at the gratitude and the freedom and the wealth that you will feel when you volunteer your time and help out other people. A penny saved is a penny earned. Mr. Toastmaster? People with memory loss. I just got back from Billings last night. I told you about my experiences with my folks. My dad, who has had memory loss for about 10 years, and my mom, who has recently had memory loss. Yesterday, my dad had to sign a document. He looked at the therapist and said, "What day is it?" She said, "It's the 23rd. He looked puzzled. She goes, "Oh yeah, it's May. I usually forget too." And then he said, "What year is it?" 17. 2 words when you work with people with memory loss. Patience, patience, patience. And compassion. Mr. Toastmaster? So let's talk about successful conclusions. Achieve a sense of closure. When you're done with your speech, everyone should know that you're done with your speech. There shouldn't be questions. There shouldn't be, what's he going to say next? It should be a wrap-up. Make an impact. This is your final 5 to 10% of the time of your speech to wake up your audience. If your audience is sleeping, wake them up. This is your opportunity to give your final message so that they remember something from your speech that day. Take less than 5 to 10% of your speech time for your conclusion. You don't want to ramble on and have this as the main body of your speech. Wrap it up, make an impact, send a message away with your audience. Achieve a sense of closure. These are ideas for successful closure. Make an impact so that your audience will remember something from your speech. Take less than 5 to 10% of your time to wrap up the speech. Now I'll give you some closing techniques. Use a quotation. A penny saved is a penny earned. Tell a short story or anecdote. And I reviewed a short story on my first story. Call for action. Things always work out for the best. Refer to the beginning of the speech. When you want to have closure, come back and zip it up to the beginning. My first speech was a crack of thunder. I cracked that thunder and came back to the beginning of the speech. Summarize your main points. 3 tips, financial tips to make you feel wealthy beyond your wildest imagination. So here's some tips. Memorize your conclusion. Just as you memorize the beginning of your speech, memorize the conclusion. You want your audience to not wonder what you're going to say. You want to know what you're going to say. Memorize your conclusion, have it down. End on time. I know that I sometimes have a problem with this. Today I'm actually going to end on time. I see the green light. Refrain from adding new points. If you've given your speech and you forgot to say something and you're coming back and now you're concluding, don't go back and say, well, you know, this and this and this. It will detract from your high impact conclusion of your speech. So today I've shared some tips and techniques on how to conclude your speech. Mr. Toastmaster.